Hello everyone, it's Ginger here. Welcome back to another pastel video, but not a painting this time. Today I am giving you a bit of a heads up on one of the most probably common problems with pastel pencils, and that is sharpening. It sparks a debate across the pastel world every single time, so I'm just going to stick my 2 pence in with this one. As you well know, you might have seen from some of my videos, for a long time I generally have been using a knife. So this is my paring knife, you can see by all the stripes and colours on it. This is what I generally use to sharpen my pastel pencils. I also have a standard pencil sharpener which has the larger and smaller hole for the different size pencils. This is a Castle Arts one, so just a nice solid steel pencil sharpener. And then I recently bought this from a recommendation. I have tried a few different ones. I had a Derwent version of this as well, and it just, it just wasn't great. But I thought, you know what? Some of the quality of pastel pencils I don't think has gotten better. I think in some cases it's gotten worse, and subsequently, and I don't know about other pastel artists out there, but this is the problem I'm finding, is that they are cheaping out on the wood, and the result of that is actually it's becoming harder and harder to sharpen pastel pencils appropriately. So I thought, you know what, stuff it, I'm going to splash out. I bought this one. This was £12.99 at the time. I think it was on offer when I bought it, and I think it's probably one of the most best buys I've bought in a long time. Beats the Derwent hands down. So this is the Swordfish Icon. I think that's how you pronounce it. So it is a mechanical pencil sharpener with a helical blade. So this is the helical blade here. It basically just means that it's a spiral blade, so it chops into the wood in a spiral motion, which in theory allows it to not do as much damage to the wood and gives a cleaner outcome. So these are my chosen implements of torture. So what I'm going to do is going to show you the difference between some of the pastel pencils and the issues I have with, even with this one, there are still some issues that you need to be aware of. The advantage is yes, I can now sharpen my pencils to a stabbing quality. Not that I'm going to stab anyone with a pastel pencil, please don't stab people. However, it's one of those things where they are nice and sharp and pointy, which is what you want if you're doing things like wildlife art when you're having to render a lot of fur. So the first one I'm going to show you, and see if I can find it. I might have taken it out of my pot, which might have been a bit of a mistake, because it was causing me so many problems. Let's have a look and see what I've got in my pot. Probably should have done this beforehand. There it is. Right. So traditionally, I'm going to see if I'm going to grab a pastel pencil. So pastel pencil, and then basically use the paring knife and carve up in small pieces. This one is not particularly sharp, I probably need to sharpen this blade. And basically it'll allow me to whittle away this and then slowly sharpen the point. Always do this away from you. And then if you have, although I don't have with me, a sanding block, then you can then sand this into a nice point. So that's the way I generally have been doing most of my pencils for a long time. So that's the knife. I'm going to pop that there. Pencil sharpener. I just don't recommend trying a pencil sharpener on a pastel pencil. It's great for pencils. For example, I've got a Faber-Castell Polychromos here, and just doing this one. I want to stick it in that hole. There we go. Yeah, not a problem. Kind of sharpens it. So yeah, standard pencil sharpener. Let's see. Let's use a colour I know I don't mind wrecking. This is a Pitt pastel pencil. Doesn't fit in the small hole. Generally have to use the big hole for most of this, and it is chewing into this. And it's just not really doing it. And yeah, It's just one of those things. Now, usually with these, what you tend to find is that the lead breaks off and then you're not actually able to achieve anything. So in the case of this, you can just about see that it's kind of mashed up the wood rather than actually sharpening it. And you can see that it's got a square end to the lead, and that's because the other end of the lead is currently stuck here in the end of the pencil sharpener, and that is your common pastel problem, consistently breaking the leads. Now, pastel pencils are super soft, so they do tend to be, they break an awful lot, so you do need a really kind of super fine way of sharpening pastel pencils in order to stop lead breakage. Now, a few other pastel pencils which I have, which are an absolute nightmare to sharpen with anything else. This is a Conti pastel pencil. I'll explain why it looks like it's been chewed by a beaver in a minute. And then, having a look, there we go, Caran d'Ache, which is another popular one that I use a lot of. I actually don't have any Stabilo. I've considered buying some, might do some in a review video later in the year. Or if my nice husband gets me some for Christmas. So, those are the common ones. I also have, for funsies, let's dig out one that's looking a little near, and also some Derwent pastel pencils. Now, these are actually softer than the Faber-Castell Pits. The wood quality is worse, and also they're about as soft as Caran d'Ache, but the wood quality is considerably worse, so they tend to just rip and rip and rip. So I'm going to show you this thing, my Swordfish Icon. It's only about a week old, this one, so yeah. When you get it, it does arrive with the blade, should be in, but not always, so I'll show you how to put it together if the blade has come out, because they can just pop out, but that's not a problem. You also get this, which is a clamp, and that's just so that you can clamp it down to a surface. So basically, I'll show you if I turn this around. You can see we've got the cavity for the blade hole, and then this hole down the bottom here, you can just about see that, there you go. That allows me to put that through here. So basically it goes like this. The black bit goes under the edge of your desk, and then you've got a little wing nut here which you tighten, and then that allows it to clamp. Do recommend clamping it because, you know, once it starts eating into the wood, it does need a little force to turn, which means you do want to be able to have it on a stable surface, because you don't want to have to have like 400 hands to be able to work something. So I'm going to put the clamp to one side. So this is the blade, this is the helical blade. So you can see there the shape of the cylinder. This just slots into the back. Now, a number of people that I have seen really struggle with this. There is a simple way. The problem is that you put it in, you try to turn it to lock it, and it won't lock, it won't go in all the way. And the reason for that is that this section hasn't gone in the hole, which is down there. So the best way to make sure you do that is to actually pull this out. So it has a little lever button on the side. In the instructions that came with this, it said to push down. No, what it means is push in, not down, because it doesn't actually go down. So I usually put it on side on. So if I do it that way, you can see there's the button. And I usually push in and then pull that out, and it will snap. If you let go, it will snap into place. You'll also notice that the tray comes out when you do that, and that's just to make sure that it catches all the dust. So we've now got it open. And we'll come on to more about this bit in a second, but we'll get the blade fitted first. So you then take the blade. You'll notice that, or at least I think you can see, if I do it there, you might be able to see, yeah, if I do it there, you can see it's got notches here and on the bottom, and they fitted to the relevant holes in here, which you can see here and here. So we're going to pop that in now. And notice that as soon as I've done that, it snaps shut, and then half turn, and that's it locked in place. Right, so blade is in. That's simple. Now, let's look at the front so you can get a better look. So, this is where I don't know how much of this we can see, just because of where the lights are at the moment. But you've got 3 metal plates in this hole. I might be able to do it if I up the exposure, you'll be able to see it. So you've got 3 metal plates in that hole, and that grips your pencil in place. Just be warned They do leave teeth marks in the pencil, but it's so that you can grip it. When you press this button in, it releases those. It also releases the clasp in here to allow this to come forward. This must be forward in order for you to use it, okay? So if I pop this down, sorry, a bit croaky. And then what you do is press the button in, pull it forward, let go, and it will snap into place. I'm now going to turn this sideways. Well, no, we'll put it diagonal to you. Right, so putting a pencil in. The button, which we know is on this side, in order to do this, it won't go in because the blades are shut. So you have to push in, put the pencil in, and you put the pencil in only as far as until you feel resistance. Once you let go of this, it grips the pencil. Now I'm going to turn this sideways. Now, this is linked to the blade housing. So when you turn it, this applies horizontal pressure and pulls this way, which is what these tracks are for. So it will pull the pencil into the blade. That pressure also helps to give it the nice, crisp, clean cut and the sharpness. So it says to go clockwise. You can tell, because if you go this way, you can hear it. It just bumps, right? So it's not doing anything. If I turn it clockwise, so away from me, you can hear it sharpening. I am holding it down because I haven't clamped it. You don't need many turns, okay? I have never had to actually take it all the way from there to there to say the pencil is sharp. If I now press the button, it will release this and this at the same time. So generally I tend to hold this at the same time. Pull the pencil out and let go. And there we go, look at that. Nicely sharpened pencil. So, caveats. It will struggle with these. This is the Derwents. I don't know why, it just does. So we're going to do one of those. So again, we pop it out, hold it, pop the pencil in as far as it'll go. Now these are wider than the pits. So they won't always like them. And it's stopped. It's gone loose, look. Now, I know exactly what will have caused that, and so that you can see, I'm going to take the pencil out. And the first thing to notice is blunt end, which means it snapped the lead off. This is the problem with these, it's quite common. So, in order to do this, I'm going to snap this out, and then I'm going to turn this and pull this out. And you may be able to see that there is a tip of a red bit there, which is the lead from the pencil. I've got a handy dandy tool. This is like a plastic clay tool, which I use, which I can just pop in, and then I can just pop the lead out. And there we go. Right, so while it's open, I can then pop this back in. You're gonna let me? Probably not. There we go. Then turn. Right, make sure that's seated. Now we're going to do this one again. Now for pencils like this that are really, really soft and really struggle, basically just do a little bit at a time. So I'm going to stop there, release, see how we are. So you can see we're starting to actually get the shape we want. Stop again, release, take a look, almost there. Part of the problem with the soft pencils is the longer you make the lead line, the more likely it is going to snap. Right, I'm going to stop there, pull this out, should be almost, yeah, there we go. And there we go, problem solved. So with the softer pencils, you just need to take a bit more time and be a bit more careful. None of those funky episodes like The Simpsons where you can literally just wheel the handle really fast and 2 seconds and it's done. That's not the case. Pastel pencils are not cheap, and you do really want to be careful when you're sharpening them in order to keep them maintainable and also usable. The same goes for the Caran d'Ache. They are very similar and also prone to breaking. They are a similar thickness, so they're slightly thicker than the pit pastels and a similar thickness to the Derwent. And again, that's just, yep, snapped. There we go. So pop this open, turn that, pull it out, and then you can just about see the orange tip in there. I'm going to pop that out. And then we're going to pop this back in. So all those other pastel artists where you just see they stick the pencil in, turn it a few times and it's done, it is not that simple. I can tell you that now. You just have to take care and know what you're working with and how to work with it. So we just turn it a few times and then check. Yep. And this is all we're doing, is we're just going to constantly in and check, in and check. We do it one more time maybe. I don't want it too much. Down to there, that should be enough. And voila, there we go. So, there's always one pencil company that's contrary to every rule. And in this case, it's Conti. I like the hardness of their pastel pencils. It's great for sketching over the top, especially if you're sketching over pan pastel. The only problem is that the thickness of this pencil, I don't know if I can show you whether or not you can see it. Oh, look at that, similar colour ends. Whether you can see, the Conti, which is this one, is considerably wider than the Pitt pastel. And if I pop this in, I know where it'll go. It goes in fine as it is at the moment. However, if I pop it the other way, it doesn't even go in the hole. It just doesn't fit. It just does not fit modern pencil. It just won't go in the hole. So, hence the reason I have done this. So I have taken my knife and I have pared this down until I can fit this into the pencil sharpener and then sharpened it. This allows me to still get a really nice sharp point on my Contis, especially as I tend to use them for fine detailing anyway. So it's really nice. They are okay because they're a harder pastel. They are also okay with a lot of very decent high-end standard pencil sharpeners like this. So you can get away with these in things like this and also this, but when you're using the mechanical ones, you do have to pare them down in order to make them fit. So that's that one. I think what else I might need to cover. I mean, there isn't really that much, to be honest with you. There we go. Yeah, to close this, the easy way to close this is reverse, so go counterclockwise on the handle. And obviously with the tray, you just wait till you shut it, pull it out, and as you can see, it's really fine particles, like tiny little shavings, because it's taking such tiny amounts off at a time. And just obviously chuck that in the bin. I actually, because it's wood, I tend to just chuck it into our composting bin. So there we have it. It's not so much a review, but it's definitely just a heads up on some of the best ways to sharpen pastel pencils, and just give you some ideas and tips and tricks as well, especially regarding the different pencil types with different sharpeners. So hopefully you guys found that helpful, and I will see you all soon for another pastel video. Ta-ta for now.